Hold up.
Hey guys, it is Tristan with Nerdets Newsstand, and as expected, there has been a little bit of fallout with the new announcement of Jonathan Kent being bisexual, and we are going to go over it. Though I will say at this point, especially when it comes to it making the rounds on the larger celebrity level or even the level of certain senators, thinking that maybe, just maybe, Lois and Clark are going to be married forever. No, I'm totally kidding. But on this note, I want to say that it really bums me out. So it probably is going to be my last video on the subject. It's a lot of negativity all at once, and I don't function well with negativity when it becomes something of a repetitive nature. So we're going to talk about Dean Cain. And tomorrow, I do have a huge announcement from Drew at Comics Elite in schedule. It was supposed to be today, but I had to reschedule. So it will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. Make sure you guys step by if you get a chance. If not, there's always the replay, of course. But let's talk about Dean Cain. Now, most of you know, Dean Cain played Superman in Lois and Clark. It was a beloved show. By today's standards, it probably would have been called a cuck show because Lois' name came first, but it was a good show. There was nothing wrong with that. And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with Dean Cain speaking on this matter because he does have experience in that role, right? Don't necessarily know that he's a comic book fan, but I don't know his biography. So he did speak out on the subject matter. And at least I will give him credit to say that, yeah, he at least did a little bit of basic research saying, I know this isn't the main Superman. This is not Clark Kent. This is his son taking over the mantle. Whereas a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, Clark Kent has been around for 80 years. No, this is a different character. This is a new character. 6 years old is not very old, especially when 5 of those years were in his childhood. So let's take a look at what he has to say. And I think he went about this in a very logical sense. I do think he thought about it before he said what he did. Now they said it's a bold new direction. I say they're bandwagoning. Robin just came out as bi, who's really shocked about that one. The new Captain America is gay. That is not true. The new Captain America is Steve. Like, there is no new Captain America. It was just a character in a road trip that was looking after and really looked up to Steve, right? So the new Captain America is not gay. It's just one of the 5. He could have very easily said in that section, the new Captain America is a veteran because that was the latest one, right? So none of that is true. Captain America is still Captain America. My daughter in Supergirl, where I played the father, was gay, so I don't think it's bold and brave or some crazy new direction. If they had done it 20 years ago, perhaps it would have been bold and brave. And I actually agree with a lot of what he said. Oh, this was on Fox and Friends. Of course it was on Fox. I should have realized from the get-go. So, is it bandwagoning? Is it something that we see done time and time again? Yes, it absolutely is. But I will say that I was able to get a little bit of information first through the comments, and then I was able to confirm it. This was not actually Tom Taylor's idea. What we're seeing here in motion is something we thought that maybe kind of trickled down and disappeared. And that is by way of 5G. We thought that though that bold new direction was going to go away, and it is not. And what they're trying to do is almost kind of double dip. And what I mean by that is, look at Superman. We're going to have Clark Kent, and we're going to have Jonathan Kent. Look at Aquaman. We're going to have Arthur Curry, and we're also going to have Jackson Hyde. Look at Batman. We're going to have Bruce Wayne, and we're going to have Jace Fox. All of which will headline their own comics. All of which are new and old characters. Talk about Wonder Girl or Wonder Woman. We're going to have Diana, but we're also going to have Yara Flor. They're trying to double dip in these characters. and they're trying to make it new and relevant for a young generation while still keeping their fans of that older generation. Now, I do think we'll have to wait and play out, let it play out and see, exactly what happens with it. But it isn't a bad idea. It isn't a bad idea that you are trying to reach out and broaden your audience. And it also isn't a bad idea to look and let those characters still remain while introducing new ones. We've seen mantles taken over dozens of times in the past, whether it's a Green Lantern or a Flash or Azrael, Asbat. It's done all the time. So double dipping is exactly what they're doing. So 5G came in. We thought it was gone. It really just kind of slowly creeped its way in. And instead of it being all new mantles, we're seeing that double dipping. So it makes a lot of sense, but then it also irritates people at the same time. So let me know where you're at in that. Is it annoying you that we're seeing this double dipping? Or is it something that keeps you reading? I personally have dropped already the Black Manta title. I have dropped the Teen Titans Academy title. I have dropped the Shazam title. There are a lot of these side titles that I'm not really a fan of. I'm going to give Aquaman The Becoming another chance because I didn't think the first issue was bad. It was just kind of, all right, well, that happened. And then I Am Batman has been decent. I would say decent. So I'm going to keep going with that one. But some of these side titles are easily droppable. And the only one that's really kept my interest because I want to see where it's going is I Am Batman and, of course, Superman, Son of Kal-El. All of which has nothing to do with this, but let's keep going. Brave would be having him fight for the gay rights of the people in Iran, where they'll throw you off a building for the offense of being gay. They're talking about having him fight climate change and the deportation of refugees, and he's dating a hacktivist, whatever a hacktivist is. Now, I'm not exactly sure. I guess I should have Googled it. I'm so old. New terms to me are like, okay, let me Google what sus means. Like, okay. I'm assuming, he's a YouTuber. He's an activist. He uses it for good on the internet. So that's my basic definition. Why don't they have him fight the injustices that created the refugees whose deportation he is protesting? That would be brave. I'd read that. Or fighting for the rights of women to attend school and have the ability to live and boys not be raped by men under the new warm and fuzzy. Not going to say that word just in case on this video. That would be brave. There are real evils in this world, real corruption and government overreach. Plenty of things to fight against. Human trafficking, real and actual slavery going on. It'd be great to tackle those issues, and I 100% agree with them. All of those storylines are political, every single one of them, but worth diving into. We're actually seeing in Jupiter's Legacy, Mike Millar go up against the Uyghur Muslims. Why not write a story about that? Human trafficking. A lot of that is, drawing in girls online, young girls, right? We've seen that in Batman Future State. And that's what really caught me because it was something new. I'm like, John Ridley, you go. And then it kind of got worse as it went on. But that idea of catching you is what needs to be done. All of these ideas could be done well in comics with a little bit of nuance. Absolutely. But so also could figuring out your sexuality to the point of it being a side story. So he's 17. He doesn't know. I know I did get a few comments like, I knew I was straight at 17. I knew I was gay at 17. I get that, but that's not everybody, right? That even if that's 50% of people they knew, there's still that 50% of people out there in the world really trying to figure out who they are. So all of these storylines would be great. Yes, but on the same lines, we don't know where he's going with the current storyline. He could be going by the way of actually fighting the injustices that created the refugees. And it does look like with Henry Bendix, he is. But he's also at the same time fighting for those refugees. And yeah, Superman is an alien. that's going to be something that's close to his heart. So that storyline I could actually see happening right now as we go more in depth into Son of Kal-El. I do think that is actually good. As far as boys not to be raped and all, okay, so I wouldn't say this word, but I said that. That was really dumb. That's really hard to do in comics, and I actually, I will be the first one to say when it comes to storylines, and I think it's worth exploring. I'm not saying that at all. But when it comes to storylines like that, I take a back seat. There are a few stories that I've had to check out of because they go so in depth like that. Real trauma negates the idea of being able to relive it and relive it and relive it. So stories like that aren't for me, but I do think they are worth exploring and absolutely deserve to be explored. There are both sides here that could be made happy by, using Henry Bendix as this terrible person that caused all the injustices that caused these people to actually flee. And he could go along those lines. And then what irritates me the most, and this kind of ended up being more of a rant than anything, is the fact that within the Grant Morrison for the shot thing, all along we were told this is an Elseworld story. I kept saying, no, it's not. I kept saying, no, it's not. This issue tied in. So clearly a lot of what we've been told about 5G and everything else has been an absolute lie. This was written in 2018, almost 4 years ago. And now it's just being introduced with the war world. A lot of what they're doing was already set into motion. 90% of what they were doing right now has already set into motion. So what we're seeing is essentially 5G. But the difference is we're still getting that double dipping where we're getting still a Batman story, right? And you got to be really particular. I think right now, when it comes to DC, it's more important than anything to support the stories that you like and pass on the ones that you don't. Unless you want a Aquaman ongoing of The Becoming. If that's your favorite title, wonderful. Support that title. If you don't like it, don't buy it just because you want to hate read it. I know there's people out there that do it. Don't buy it. Let the market decide. If the market decides that these new mantles being taken over are garbage, then we'll get a change back to status quo. If this evolution works, then great. I'll continue to read as long as those stories are good. So anyways, that went a little bit into 5G, but it's just frustrating when I go to read my Superman and the Authority, and they're like, oh, now we're going to War World. Like, dude, we're supposed to be depowered, kind of, and we never seen a whole lot of evidence of that. And now this story is canonical, and you're old, and okay, and we've got OMAC, which is a Jack Kirby creation, who was been, changed quite a few times. I'm not saying that. But now we're getting this weird, internet speak where it's like my pronouns are they, he, she, them. I don't remember exactly. I'd have to look back over it. And I'm like, I'm in my 30s. Come on now. Most of your audience is, especially for Grant Morrison. Stop. Just make good stories. And then everybody will accept it. Ignore the backlash right now. If that story is good, we're going to love it. The people that are actually reading it and know that Lois and Clark are a totally different Superman, we're going to support the creators we love. We know those titles. We know they're good. Just make a good story and we'll keep supporting it. So anyways, rant over. I apologize. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.